This video will walk you through the first screen of WARDCAM. So WARDCAM was designed to be a DXF to CNC converter. So there's no CAD capabilities, there's no nesting capabilities. You can do fixed 5-axis bevel cutting, but essentially it's just a very simple package, minimal number of icons to keep things simple. So when you first open it up, clean interface, click on File, and then Open. And we're going to go ahead and just grab this DXF file here. You'll see if you expand this whole pull down here, we can actually import some versions of ORD files. We want to test that first. .sgc is the extension for a WARDCAM file after you save it, but we're just looking at DXF files here. So we'll open this one up here. So a couple things. First on the mouse. If you've got, hopefully you have a scroll wheel on your mouse, so you can roll that scroll wheel forward and back to zoom in, zoom out. If you double click on the scroll wheel, you'll zoom extents. If you hold down on the scroll wheel, you can pan around. So that's the scroll wheel. For selecting things similar to other CAD systems, right now you'll notice up here in the top left-hand corner, this item here, the Select Geometry button is currently selected. So in that case, if you drag from left to right, you'll select anything that's fully within the box. If you drag from right to left, you'll select anything that's crossing the box. So if we wanted to select these two lines here, I can drag from left to right, and they just have to be crossing that box, and they'll be selected. If I drag from left to right, since they're not fully within that box, they won't be selected. So that's how you would select things. And then just working down the left side here. So the next button down here is Align command. This is used to close up geometries. So in this file here, we've got these lines which aren't connected, which if they're supposed to be connected, I can just use the Line command, and you'll see as I hover towards the end of a line, the blue square pops up showing that I can select the endpoint of that line, so I can draw a line from endpoint to endpoint. What I can't do is give it specific coordinates, so I can't tell it that I want to start from here and then I want to go 3.5 inches in X and 1.7 whatever in Y. It's simply just used as a cleanup tool. So that's the Line command. Next thing down is a rectangle command. This is sometimes used if you have something that is going to be cut as a inside geometry. So say for example we wanted to cut this rectangle out of a piece of material that we already have cut to size. If I go to apply a toolpath to this right now, WARDCAM will look at this and assume that this area in here is what I want to keep, and everything out here is a scrap area, and it'll apply the lead-in on the outside of this rectangle, where if really I want this to be the scrap or the drop, and I'm going to be keeping this area, we can use this rectangle command, and we can just draw another rectangle around this, and then when WARDCAM looks at this, it will know that the, excuse me, so I can do this here. So now it'll know that this is supposed to be an inside or a drop there, and it'll put the lead in on this side of the line rather than that side of the line. So that's the rectangle command. And I'll just go ahead and delete that. So you see up here we do have undo and redo commands, so you can use that. And then we got the point command. This would be used if you want to do something like just do an abrasive pierce, or if you have a drilling option on your machine, you can use the point command to indicate where functions like that need to be done. So for example, if this hole here was actually just going to be an abrasive pierce, you can use this point command, and then again, similar to the snapping command for an endpoint of a line, as we hover near the center of a circle, that circle will pop up to show that we can snap to the center of that circle there and put a point there. And then next button down here is a delete button, so you can use that and you can click on items to delete them. You can also just use the delete key on your keyboard. If you've got another command active and you highlight something, you hit the delete key, it'll be deleted. And we'll undo that. We've got the trim command, so if you have a file come in and these lines, don't want those lines there, you can click on the trim button and then just click on the lines that you want to get rid of. The explode button here is used if you have something that's a joined entity and you want to break it up to be able to work with it some more. You can use the explode button to break things down to their individual drawing elements. And then you also have things like move. If you want to move something, you can first select it. So if we wanted to move this somewhere else, we can select it and then use the move command. Down here it's asking for base point to move from, so I can just click somewhere and then move it. Right now you'll see this ortho button is not turned on, so I can move in any direction. If I press the F8 key on my keyboard, then that'll turn on ortho, and then I can only move 90-degree angles. And then the next thing down is the copy button. So if I want to make a copy of what I've currently got selected, can click on that, and again it asks for a base point for your copy, and then you can make as many copies of that as you like. Rotate command. So if you want to rotate something, again, select it, click on rotate, select your base point for your rotation, and then you can either just visually indicate the angle that you want to rotate it to, or you can plug in a specific number. So if you want to rotate that 90 degrees, you can specify that. And then scale, if you want to make something bigger or smaller. So if you maybe bring a part in and it's metric, you want to scale it up or down, you can select it, use the scale command, select a base point for the scale, so you'll click, and then you can type in how much you want to scale it up or down by. So if I want to make this half as big, I can just type in 0.5 and click on OK, and that'll be scaled down. And then you can also mirror things. So we'll go ahead and mirror this, and then it's saying select base point for mirror. So you can just pick a point and that will be mirrored. So those are the commands down the left-hand side. And then up here we've got a layers button. If your drawing has layers, you can click on this eyeball here and either turn layers on and off. So if we click on this eyeball here, turn off the dim layer, and then click out of there, we can see what items are on the dim layer that are now hidden. And then the ortho button. So again, to activate the ortho button, you have to press the F8 key on your keyboard. You can't click on this to activate or deactivate it. So those are the buttons in the first geometry screen. You'll see down here you've got the name of your current file that you have open. If you do have multiple files open, I'll just open up another file here. Let's see, take this one. So as you open other files, then you'll have tabs down here, so you can be working on multiple files at the same time. Down here in the left-hand corner, we have XY coordinates. So while there's no measure tool here in WARDCAM, you can use these numbers down here to get approximation of distances. So if you're not sure if something's in metric or inch, or if it's been scaled up or scaled down, you can basically hover over a couple points and get an idea of the approximate size. So down here we see X is minus 2.3, and over here it's about 4.8, which makes it around the 7 inches that's indicated by that dimension line there. So it indicates that this should be 1-to-1 scale. And then up here in the top right-hand corner, this is the current step that we're in. We're on the geometry step. And if we hit the next button, then it'll take it to the next step in the process. So right now I'm just going to clean up some of this extraneous information that we don't need here. We'll leave that. We're going to leave this point here because I'm going to use that in the next screen. And we'll hit the next button, and then that takes us to our part screen. So that will be in our next video. Thanks.